So one option for doing your timeline on your business leader is to do it in a ThingLink. So to do it in a ThingLink, you actually need to have a background graphic. So I've opened up a new Google Drawing. I've given it an appropriate name, and I've gone out and I've done a search for a picture on my business leader. So I'm going to do Coco Chanel, and I'm going to use a graphic that I've already used since I already have it works cited. That way I don't have to do another works cited and add it to my paper. So I'm just going to click and drag this onto my timeline tab, my Google Drawing, and I'm going to place the picture in my Google Drawing, and I'm going to arrange it so it just fits inside the drawing itself. Now, so this is the background graphic. Now I still need to add my timeline. So if I go up to the line, and typically if your person is still alive, you start with like a circle at one end of the timeline, and you have an arrow at the right end indicating that their life goes on. If they have passed already, you need to have a beginning and an end, a definitive beginning and a definitive end to your line. So I'm just going to use a line. Now notice if I have a line here, I click and I can drag and my line moves. If you hold down your shift key while you increase the size of your line, it will snap by degree and won't be in between, so you can assure yourself of having a perfectly horizontal line for your timeline. Now I'm going to make it go just beyond her shoulder here so that I can still see it, and there's my line. Now I'm going to click off. Oops, I'm going to click off, and notice that I lose my line a bit here because this is a black and white graphic. So I can change the color of my line to a red. Maybe that would stand out a little bit more, or a yellow or something along those lines. Let's try yellow. Yeah, yellow doesn't work. So I'm just going to go back to red. I can make my line a little bit thicker. So maybe I choose a 4. And like I said, you need to have a definitive beginning. They were born. And either an arrow if their life is still going on, or if they have passed already, you need to have an ending to it. So you do that here. So I'm going to say this is when she was born, and this is when she died. So if I click off of it, you now can see I have a very definitive timeline. So all I have to do now is download it as a PNG. So I go up to File, Download as PNG, and it will download it into my downloads. So once I have it downloaded, I can go into my ThingLink, and I'm going to make, so I'm creating a new ThingLink. So I can just take this graphic. We'll see if this works. And I drag and drop it onto the blue box, and no, it's not going to. So I'm going to go into my other downloads, and there's my timeline. And I'm going to drag it in here, and that's going to work for me. So here's my ThingLink timeline background. So as soon as it finishes opening up, now I can start adding the various tags indicating the events in her life. So as soon as it finishes opening for me, so I'm going to just make a tag here. And again, I can choose the different icons here. So I really don't want it standing out too much, but I do want it to stand out. So since I have a red line, I'm not gonna, I could do a red circle, to indicate here's a time when something happened here, and I need to get an image. So I'm going to put a link to the graphic. So I now have a graphic of my graphic in here, but I'm going to talk about what was going on in Coco's life at this point. Finish loading here. Okay, so my graphic is now inserted. So I'm going to save my tag, and I'm just going to keep clicking along here and adding different tags. So the red looks pretty good. So I do want to make a tag here indicating that she was born. So maybe I'll move this down just a little bit, and I want to make sure that my circle is somewhat centered on my line. So at the very beginning, I do want to show that she was born then. So what I can do is, so maybe I use this circle as my tag. That way it, encircles the beginning, and I can say that Coco was born on and so forth. And I can save my tag. So I'm going to save my tag. Again, I want to make sure it's kind of centered. I'm just going to add a couple more tag holders. I'm going to go back to my red because I think that looks really well. So I'm just going to put some tag holders in here just for demonstration purposes. And then again, Coco has passed, so I'm going to use this thin white circle again so that it will encircle the ending of her life. So Coco Chanel died on, and the rest of that information. Again, I'm going to center this around that. Save my tag, and then I'm going to save my ThingLink. So this now is my timeline, and if I go on top of each one of these, you can see that I've got some information here. Obviously, you're going to have more information in your timeline. I'm going to click on share, and I'm going to copy this URL, and I'm going to go into my business leader puzzle piece ThingLink, and I'm going to paste this as one of the tags.